Hi everyone, this is Harry Hoffman. We continue with week 3, day 1 with our MemberCare Foundations course. And this week I'm going to introduce to you the Pyramid of Care. Don't we all like pyramids? I really like the Pyramid of Care as a MemberCare model because it applies to singles, it applies to couples, to families, to kids. It applies to MemberCare providers. Where do you position yourself as a MemberCare provider? And also for those who train other MemberCare people, what kind of area do you train in? So I really look forward to this week and sharing that with you, and let's get started. So how did I get involved in this model? As I shared before, I was a lot involved in the care for crisis, for accidents, earthquakes, terror attacks, evacuations, and these kind of things. And so the crisis care aspect. And then I was involved with a lot of mental health professionals. And the mental health world is really fascinating with all its diagnoses and all its approaches to care. And I remember one guy who went to a Mennonite training in EMDR. EMDR is this rapid eye movement thing that helps you work through trauma and memories that are stuck somewhere in your brain or in your system. And the Mennonites in the US offered a training, and that was like a fascinating world. So I had crisis, and I had the mental health professionals, and I did member care work, and it felt like something doesn't feel right. Something is missing here. And my struggle with the existing member care models was like the mental health approach looks at problems. Many member care models look at certain issues, which are also problematic issues like transition or grief or TCK or cross-cultural teams or identity of third culture kids, things like this. Then also the PACT team and the support team is also a small element of member care. And the word member care, the care, indicates that there is something to care for. And in many member care models, actually, the care receiver is missing. I once read an article, a business article, where it talked about organizational diagrams, that in normal organizational diagrams, the customer is missing. So organizational diagrams would look very differently if the customer would be part of that diagram, because the customer is the most important person in an organization. And so the missionary, the cross-cultural worker, is the most important person in our member care system. And where does this person appear? I was not able to find anything besides problems and issues and diagnoses. So I was eager to create or find something new that fits what I was looking for. And then I came across the material by the Red Cross on psychosocial support. I really like that word, psychosocial support, because it looks at the psychological issues and also the social issues. I know the spiritual issues are missing. Wait a second, I will get there in a minute. Let me just look at psychological and social. So you have the mental health part and the psychological side, and also the social part as part of healing. And so the psychosocial support was like, wow, this is amazing. And I found a document on the Red Cross website by a corporation of United Nations, UNHCR related organizations and non-profit organizations, and they created a pyramid of mental health and psychosocial support. And let me briefly introduce that. By the way, the psychosocial support website by the Red Cross, and I put a link into the show notes below, has a wealth of resources. If you are able and willing to go outside the Christian contexts, this is amazing what they have in terms of resources and also languages available, also Spanish, Arab, Chinese, and things like that. When I first saw this intervention pyramid for mental health and psychosocial support in emergencies, I knew this is very focused on emergencies, but I really liked that model because it can be applied to also the member care context. The foundational part, number one, is called Basic Service and Security, and it talks about food and shelter, just the basic needs, peace, peaceful living conditions, food and shelter, which is number one, which everybody needs. The second layer in their pyramid model is called community and family support. Community in our context is like church community, and family support, bringing family together. So this is another level of support in crises. Number three is the focused and non-specialized support, which is like peer support. Groups of people meet, they support each other, and it's focused, but it's not specialized. Number four, the last one, is the peak, is the specialized support, professional support, the psychiatric, the medical, people who need special attention. So this pyramid talks about response to emergencies, the psychosocial response. And the bottom line is food and shelter. Then you have the community and the church. Then you have peer support in sort of smaller groups. And then you have the specializations, the special support. And only a few really need that if you have the layers below. And that was a key to me. That was like an epiphany. Actually, the mental health professionals are not needed everywhere. They need it because they are specialized. They are only needed for a few. But if we can get the church involved and peer support involved, then member care would look very differently. And as I said before, what was missing in this model is the spiritual aspect, the God aspect, and also the receiver of the services are missing. And that's when I came across the Christian Wholeness Framework pyramid of support, I was like, yeah, this really brings together all that is needed as a member care model. Let me show you briefly what that means. So here you have the pyramid of care. In the middle you have the receiver of the service, the receiver who has a God relationship, and God is on top and the receiver is on bottom. So you have this line like the cross, the vertical side of the cross. And then you have four corners. And the corner number one is friends and family. So the receiver of service needs friends and family to support. Then you have the community, the church as a support. Then you have people helpers, which is the peer support or lay support. And then you have the professional corner, which is the professional support. So what I just show you in these layers sort of translates into the pyramid of care really well, with friends and family, church, people helper, and professional. You have the receiver and you have God on top. So in the following week, I will introduce each day one of these corners and zoom in onto these corners, and will explain to you what that means, and hopefully encourage you as well to build these corners for your own life, help your missionaries that you care for build these corners, and maybe through this model we can all grow more and more as member care providers and as a world of missions. Looking forward to seeing you tomorrow again. Bye for now.